Shank, you claim that when your daughter Serenity turned 2, Mr. Robinson began to doubt paternity.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now, since then, you claim he's pulled away from your child, and it's now breaking your heart to watch her suffer.
Yes, Your Honor.
Mr. Robinson, you state from the moment Serenity was born, you were actively involved in her life and developed a very strong bond.
Yes, Your Honor.
However, when Ms. Shank suddenly stated you may not be her biological father and started to pursue DNA testing of another man, you pulled away.
Yes, Your Honor.
So you're hoping DNA results prove you are Serenity's father so you can once again feel close to your little girl.
Yes, ma'am.
So, Mr. Robinson, I want to understand what happened that changed everything for you as it relates to your little girl.
Well, Your Honor, up to 2 years of Serenity's life, I was there for her and Mrs. Shank until about 5 months. She was 5 months pregnant. She told me that I may not be her father because she slept with a friend.
So, hold on. Take me back. You said you were there for her, meaning when you found out Ms. Shank was pregnant, you thought you were having a baby.
Yes, ma'am.
It was never ever mentioned to you that there could possibly be another father.
Yes, ma'am.
And when you say you were there, give me details.
I was there through all her doctor's appointments. Each and every doctor's appointment, I was there. Even for Serenity, when she was born, I was there for her, helping her out with her.
Were you two in a relationship?
Not in an actual relationship. We was dealing with each other off and on.
Off and on?
Yes, ma'am.
Sexual relationship?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And so she told you she was pregnant, you believed her. You said, okay, and I'm there.
Yes, ma'am.
Doctor's appointments, everything.
Yes, ma'am, I was there.
And then about 5 months, what happened?
She told me that she had slept with a friend of mine and didn't know if I was the father or if he was the father.
So she came clean?
Yes, ma'am.
So, Ms. Shank, that happened?
Yes, Your Honor.
Please talk to me. Fill me in. When you found out you were pregnant, did you think he was the father, or did you know right off the bat there could possibly be another father?
I didn't know. When I first found out I was pregnant, he was there, like he said. We were in an on and off relationship. Around the time I had slept with him, I did sleep with somebody else. And we did use protection. The condom did break. That's why I didn't. Oops.
So it was just, I understand. I know this is difficult. And I appreciate the fact that you're here to tell the truth, because that's what we need to get down to the bottom of this situation. So you were in an on and off relationship with Mr. Robinson.
Yes, Your Honor.
But you did sleep with someone else during the window of conception.
Yes.
There was an issue with the protection you used.
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you found out you were pregnant, did you immediately say it could be Mr. Robinson or the other guy, or did you say to yourself you felt like it was just Mr. Robinson because you'd only been with the other guy once?
Yes, Your Honor.
Was it just one time with the other guy?
Yes, Your Honor.
So when you finally decided to tell Mr. Robinson the truth, fill me in on that, because Mr. Robinson says he was there for you. He was going to doctor's appointments. He thought he was having a child. And when did you decide to tell the truth?
5 months into my pregnancy, he had went through my phone and seen a text message I had sent to my cousin saying it was a 50-50 chance that he couldn't have been the father.
I'm missing some facts, and I need you to fill me in, because you said when you found out you were pregnant, you said to yourself, he's the father, because I only had sex with this guy, the other guy, one time, and we used protection even though there was an issue, so he must be the father. What happened during those 5 months that made you realize or do the math and it added up to it really could potentially be this other man's child as well?
It didn't add up. It didn't add up, Your Honor.
What do you mean it didn't add up? It did add up, because you wouldn't have written that text if you didn't think that.
The condom broke when I slept with the other person.
Okay, so what I'm saying is when you found out you were pregnant, you said you really felt it was Mr. Robinson's baby. At what point did that feeling change for you so that you would send that text to your cousin? You were replaying it in your mind?
You can say that, yes.
Okay. So when the baby was born, you were there?
Yes, ma'am.
So after she told you, you said, I don't want to hear this news, but I'm still going to be there.
Yes, ma'am.
So that part of her testimony is correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And so you continued to be there?
Yes, ma'am.
Through the birth?
Through the birth, I was there.
There at the hospital?
Yes, ma'am. I was there through her whole pregnancy. I was there through her birth. The birth certificate, my name is on it.
And then now you have this beautiful little girl, and you step up and you're her father.
Yes, ma'am. Up until after when she told me that she had slept with somebody else, that's what made me push myself away from Serenity.
What, you knew that it was a 50-50 chance when she was 5 months pregnant?
Yes, ma'am.
But you still said you'd be there?
Yes, ma'am.
So at what point did you begin to step back from Serenity after she was born, and why? Because you already knew at 5 months.
I found out that she was having the other guy tested, or she wanted to get tested and didn't have me tested.
You made plans to have the other man tested?
Yes, but we couldn't find him. Because when my daughter was first born, she didn't look anything like him. She looked just like the other man.
And so as Mr. Robinson was bonding with the baby, really stepping up to the plate as father, in your mind, you're looking and you're saying, my baby looks just like the other guy.
Yes, Your Honor.
And I need to have him tested. You actually have another child with Mr. Robinson.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, so you guys were on and off again, but you have another child together, and that child you say looks like him.
Yes, Your Honor.
Now you say Mr. Robinson now treats baby Serenity differently than your other child.
Yes, Your
Explain.
He'll call and talk to my son. Sometimes he'll talk to her, tell her he misses her and he loves her. And sometimes when he calls, like when he's with his family, he doesn't even ask to speak to Serenity. An example is a couple weeks ago, they came and him and his mother came and picked up my son. And my daughter was devastated because she couldn't go. She cried for about 20-25 minutes. Even sometimes when my son talks to his father on the phone, and after he gets off, Serenity says, I want to talk to daddy, and my son says, that's not your daddy.
How would a child know to tell another child that's not your father? See, that's a child in grown folks' business, where he doesn't belong. That's TMI for a child. So now your son looks at your daughter and says, that's not your daddy.
Yes.
And she's brokenhearted.
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, I want to hear from your witness. Ma'am, please step up. State your name for the court.
I'm Donna Shank. I'm Brittany Shank's mom.
Okay. Ms. Shank, thank you for joining us today. What have you observed of the situation?
Well, first I'd like to say that I'm here today to support my daughter. I totally understand why Mr. Robinson pulled away from my daughter Serenity, granddaughter Serenity. I was in a similar situation with my son, and after 5 months of bonding with this child, to find out that it was not my grandchild, it broke my heart. So I don't want my granddaughter to be 21 and find out that this man is not her
Well, as
father.
you look at Serenity, your granddaughter, do you see Mr. Robinson? Your daughter says she doesn't see his face.
When at first I didn't, which is why I understood why my daughter wanted to have someone else tested, because Serenity looks like him. My grandson is very dark-skinned. Serenity is brown-skinned like the other man. They have the same facial features, the eyes, the nose. And as she grew teeth and got a little older, she's now beginning to look like Mr. Robinson. So I just want an end to the question so that they can begin.
Yes.
But I think that Serenity looks like me. I have a picture of the both of us.
Jerome, will you hand me that, please? And this is, sir?
That is Serenity and myself.
As babies.
Yes, ma'am.
And you say you see a resemblance.
Yes, ma'am.
How about you, Ms. Shank?
I can say yes and I can say no. I think Serenity looks like him. They both have a prominent gap in their teeth. We don't have gaps in our family, in our teeth, and he and his mom do. So, like I said, as she's gotten older, she is starting to favor Mr. Robinson. But, I mean, you can't go by that. We know that.
We definitely have seen in this courtroom, there have been many times when a child, we want to believe a child looks like a certain man because we want that man to be their father because he wants to be.
Right.
But it often does not turn out the way we hoped. I want to ask you, Ms. Shank, have you noticed at all Mr. Robinson treating Serenity differently? I know of late your daughter spoke of him not picking her up
Yes,
Have you
ma'am.
noticed the effects it's had on Serenity?
It's caused a lot of confusion. You touched on earlier about my grandson. He's 4, but he's 44. So he is very intelligent, and he doesn't understand how now we're saying that your daddy and Serenity's daddy, because that's not what was told to him. That's for the last 2 years. So he's confused.
What I'm hoping is that he hasn't overheard grown folks' conversations, because I have a 4-year-old too.
Exactly.
And they know what you're talking about.
Exactly.
And they pick it up. And the very line you don't want them to say is the one they repeat.
Exactly.
So, all right. So, Mr. Robinson, your mom sent in a video statement, and we'd like to hear from her.
I think that Serenity may not be Jamaria's daughter because Brittany went out and cheated on Jamaria with one of his friends or associates that he knew. So, and then she told Jamaria that the child wasn't his. When she gave him the information that it may not have been his, he was really hurt. I mean, he was hurt, crying hurt. So, yeah, I did try to express to him not to get close to this child until he knew for sure. I did tell him that one day the truth will come out.
So, Mr. Robinson, you know, we've heard your mother just speak on your behalf, and she says it really broke your heart to have to pull away, and that she encouraged you to.
Yes, ma'am.
Until you know. How badly is it hurting you?
I mean, it's devastating, actually. Like I said, I never denied a child, and I hope that she is mine.
And so, the truth is, your hopes have remained constant.
Yes, ma'am.
You hoped she was yours when you found out she was pregnant.
Yes, ma'am.
You've hoped she was yours when you found out there could potentially be another man, and you're still hoping this baby is yours, even though you feel like it was right to pull away from her until you know for sure.
Yes, ma'am.
And Ms. Shank, what are your hopes?
My hopes is for these two to begin co-parenting, and that we find out an answer today, because my grandchildren deserve to have the best parents that they can get.
And how about you, Brittany? Ms. Shank, what are your hopes today?
My hopes today are that Mr. Robinson is Serenity's father. I don't want to see my baby go through the same things I went through.
And when you say you went through?
I grew up without my father. The last time I seen my father, I believe I was 6. He just now is reaching out to me, so we're working on that. But I want my baby to do better than me and have better than me.
That's understandable. Do you know where the other man is, if in fact Mr. Robinson is not Serenity's biological father?
I know where he is, but I don't think he's willing to do a DNA test.
So a lot's riding on this result today, because you believe if Mr. Robinson is not Serenity's biological father, she loses that connection to a father because the other man, you say, is not interested in being involved in her life.
Yes, Your Honor.
I think it's time for the results. Jerome? These results were prepared by DNA Diagnostics, and they read as follows. In the case of Shank versus Robinson, when it comes to 2-year-old Serenity Shank. In the case of Shank versus Robinson, when it comes to 2-year-old Serenity Shank, Jamario Robinson is her father. How do you feel, Mr. Robinson?
I feel great.
Good.
I feel great.
And so now when we go pick up child number 1, we also get our little girl too, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Brittany and Shank, your daughter does have the father. She's so desperately deserved. I'm so happy for you, and I see how relieved you are. Now I see you're having another baby. I have to ask,
I know who the baby daddy is.
We know who the father
Yes.
is, and it's not Mr. Robinson.
No, ma'am.
So you all are off now. No more on, off, just off. And we're going to learn to co-parent, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And take care of the two beautiful children we have together, right?
Yes, Your Honor.
That's what I want to hear. The court has resources for you. If you need help pulling all of this together, I wish you all the very best of luck and good luck on the
Thank
brand new
you.
baby as well. Court is adjourned.